There is this increasing debate inside the Taliban movement, which is basically where many of them, like these people that we talk to, are questioning the current official line.
The report is about Taliban perspectives on reconciliation. So what we did was we assembled a small group of experts on Afghanistan and the Taliban, and we went to a location in the Gulf in July of this year, and we interviewed 4 senior interlocutors with the Taliban. So 2 former very senior Taliban leaders, 1 minister, 1 deputy minister, and 2 senior Afghan negotiators who have an experience of negotiating and working with the Taliban.
The report presents what I would say is a picture of what moderates inside the Taliban movement think.
Perhaps the key finding is that there's a large view within the Taliban that they can well imagine an American role and presence in Afghanistan beyond the end of the conflict.
They have made it clear that they believe that a military victory isn't possible on their side. They didn't start off believing that they're going to be able to wait out NATO and topple the Kabul government.
The Taliban are ready and prepared to break with Al-Qaeda and renounce international terrorism and work with the international community to take measures to ensure that Al-Qaeda does not operate from their territory. Another interesting finding in the report is Taliban thinking about the government post-conflict. And here 3 of the interviewees said that they would imagine the Taliban going into some kind of power sharing arrangement in an inclusive government. But key to this is that they're not prepared to do so with Karzai or Karzai's clan. The Taliban have no faith in Karzai whatsoever. To an extent they really detest the president. And but more to the point, they don't trust the president because of the level of corruption that they see within the Karzai government. And therefore any future power sharing or inclusive government would have to be with other elements of other political parties and groups in Afghanistan, not with Karzai.
We talked about the idea of a ceasefire because they realise that ultimately there's going to have to be a negotiated solution rather than some kind of military victory for them. They said that yes, they could contemplate a general ceasefire. They made it quite clear that to them a general ceasefire covering all of Afghanistan would be preferable than discussing local ceasefires, of which there's a certain amount of experience over the past few years. They also made it clear that for a ceasefire to work, the best chance would be if Mullah Omar, the actual Taliban leader, endorsed it. So what they're saying is that there would be a prospect of an officially endorsed ceasefire. And they also said that choreographing a ceasefire, presenting it, would be extremely important to be able to maintain the buy-in of the young men who currently do the fighting for the Taliban. It would be important that they would have to present it as part of a process of the end of the international sort of military campaign in Afghanistan, an end of the war, and a transition to some kind of new political setup there. They would want to be able to present it as something which they could justify in Islamic terms.
I mean, so what's new about this report is that we've had the opportunity to go and speak with a number of people who are very close to the Taliban leadership, and thereby gain some insights into the debates that are ongoing within the Taliban leadership with regards to what the boundaries are, the parameters for possible negotiation. So we're not saying in the report that this represents Taliban policy. It does not. But what we are saying is that this represents the more moderate views within the Taliban, which seem to be very pragmatic and provide the basis for a constructive negotiation.
The official Taliban policy is almost the opposite of everything that these people have discussed. If you were to ask what is the current official line of the Taliban movement, something which they present in their press releases, something which they have put at the negotiating table so far, it is that they will fight until the withdrawal of the last foreign troop, that they will push for the re-establishment of the Islamic Emirate, in other words, Afghanistan run by their leader, and at most they will tolerate the participation of some other non-Taliban Afghans in government. That's the official line. Moderates have not been able to change that official line yet. However, what we were told by the interlocutors here was that certainly the moderate constituency exists. It includes senior people in the leadership, and probably, and this is something that this is again my inference from it, it probably is gaining strength. And the reason it's gaining strength is that they can see that the consequences of getting this wrong for them will be that they will bear the responsibility of plunging Afghanistan into another round of civil war post-2014. So I think that the contrast between what's possible in terms of frankly the quite reasonable positions that probably other Afghans could live with, that were presented by these moderates, the contrast between that and the actual official position of the Taliban is as wide as ever. However, there is this increasing debate inside the Taliban movement, which is basically where many of them, like these people that we talk to, are questioning the current official line. So nobody really knows whether the moderates will ever be able to deliver something inside the Taliban movement, basically to change the way the Taliban behave, to get a better outcome for Afghanistan than the current path towards civil war. And I think that the challenge following on this report that people should be asking is, okay, how do you manage the transition? How do you manage to switch from the current trajectory, which looks like a trajectory towards civil war, towards a trajectory where actually these kind of things, which certainly are possible, where they actually happen, where instead of having the move towards civil war, you actually get a move towards a general ceasefire.